And welcome to the Talon Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
I'm Captain Paul Tar.
And I'm Fred.
Yeah. JD, anytime I do it, JD kind of smiles, and then he says, I'm JD. It's kind of like just out of the blue. I go, welcome to the Talon Outdoor Show.
I'm still JD. I was JD last week. I'll be JD next week, hopefully, good Lord willing.
I got to click record on 2 different devices and get 2 clocks going, and I don't know. It's going to make noise at the end of the thing, and let me turn that down if I can figure out how. So, yeah, whew, man.
It's another week gone.
Yeah.
Boy, it went quick.
It sure did.
You telling me. Jeez.
We were baling hay this last week, and somehow or another over in the cow pasture, I put electric fence up and fenced off most of my cow pasture because I don't have enough cows to graze it all, and we were cutting hay and seed off of it. And so JD's favorite grass, it's super improved Bahia grasses, fixing to plant some riata. I'm gonna put some riata out there, JD. Maybe you won't be. That's like Pensacola grass on steroids to Tifton 9 to more steroids to longer. So there's a longer growing season.
So now I can't even go to Jackson County.
So until there's a hard frost, that stuff's gonna still be growing. So anyway, so around the cow pasture at the bottom, I've put some electric fence to keep some pigs in, and somewhere along the way, one of the wires reached over and are touching, like 2 gates over is touching. Apparently the electric fence box is pretty strong because it has electrified the double gate down there.
Did you get shocked?
Oh yeah, everybody that's gone through there has been shocked. I think it got so it got the sheriff the other day, and it got.
That's nice.
You didn't leave it alone. Let's set up a camera.
Oh man, well see the problem is so we got all the hay baled, and I'm doing the hay on halves with Trenton Childs. He's got he does a lot of vegetable stuff, and he's got a shop over in Grand Ridge, and seasonally they're open selling fresh produce and all that. And so he was over doing the hay, and I'm out there running a tedder, and I get a phone call and say, hey, your gate's hot. And I went, well, wonder what happened. And they'd thrown a T-shirt over it because just keep people from getting shocked. I went down there and I forgot, and I reached over there and grabbed it, and it kind of buzzed me a little bit. If your timing's right, you can, because it pulses like once a second. So if you just kind of touch it at the right time, it won't get you.
I know.
But you don't know what time it is.
Yeah.
So once you touch it, then okay, well, it didn't get me. So you got about 1 Mississippi to do it again and again and again, and you can move it. So I went down there and I thought it was because it was wet. Sometimes when it's wet and the dew gets on some grass and it'll cross from a hot wire to a ground wire, and well, it wasn't because it was wet, because I went down there when it was nice and dry, and I reached up there and I touched the gate and it didn't get me, and I went, oh, it ain't hot. So I threw the chain off and it didn't get me. But so it's a double gate, and I grabbed the hot gate, and then I grabbed the other not hot gate, and I went to swing the gate open, so it went up my right hand all the way to my left hand.
So you was
it ran across me, and it was like
you got 6 feet of hello.
kind of like breakdancing.
And so today I left. Yeah. So I got home yesterday, and my half of the hay was still in the field, so I had to go. I jumped out there on the tractor that doesn't have any lights on it. It's the only one with a hay spear on it. So I ran out there, and the other one had lights on it. They got a flat tire on the front. So I jumped on and I'm moving hay in the dark last night, because I know the fertilizer man's coming today, and you don't want to streak it up. So I'm driving around the fields last night in the dark, and I go, okay, there's a shadow that looks like a hay bale. I'd run over there and stab it and run it out of the field. And
why didn't you put on your night vision?
Because it was at the house. I didn't think about that. I didn't even, that would have been cool. I could have been moving hay with night vision. Man, that would have been like too cool. And so, because I got a helmet and all that stuff mounted, that would have been awesome.
Tactical hay.
I will do that next. I will do that next time on purpose. So, so it wasn't a cab tractor, so I would have been able to see, because you can't see through glass with that stuff. So I would have been able to. Yeah, it would have actually worked.
You can see through glass.
That was a perfectly.
You can see through glass with night vision. You can't see through glass with thermal.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So, cause we had thermal in the shop yesterday we were looking at, and I could see myself reflecting back in the glass. Anyway, so today I left the house, and the fertilizer got there just hauling butt with those big 4-wheel drive fertilizer trucks now, and I was like, yeah, get the fertilizer out. Apparently, he didn't appreciate the fact
That gate
that
was
he
still
couldn't
hot?
get into the cow pasture.
Oh.
So I just texted my kids and I said, run down to the dock. I don't know which one of y'all's doing what, but like I need you to run down there ASAP and unplug the electric fence by the dock. And I mean, it's an electric fence. How bad does it hurt?
Yeah.
I mean,
It hurts.
It gets you. No,
It hurts.
It gets you, but
It hurts.
if
Especially if you're a short guy and you're trying to step over it and you happen to get caught in the middle. It hurts.
well, I've never been a short guy, not since I was about 12.
It does not feel. Speaking of vision, so I had to go to the eye doctor this way. Something been wrong with my left eye. It's been watering. I thought I had pink eye or something. I didn't know what was wrong with it.
Well, you didn't bother to not come in here with it.
No, I mean I got diagnosed. I have an ulcer on my cornea. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I get when I get around Bahia grass.
So
I'm not kidding. No, I'm
Really?
dead serious. Yeah.
I'm thinking that I went to Walmart, Circle K, Costco, and another place where you see ugly people, and it just strained my eye. It stressed it out.
Or a mirror store.
Yeah, and it caused an ulcer.
You've probably been shaving too often, looking in
eye?
the mirror. No, shaving your face, looking
Oh,
in the
okay.
mirror,
It could have done that. I mean, yeah.
burning your cornea.
But anyway, it hurt. And he gave me some drops, but it's still.
No, I literally have reaction so bad to Bahia grass, I will get ulcers on the white of my eyes.
Ever since you was young?
Since I was-
because you live in
It don't
Chattahoochee.
yeah,
feel
since
good.
I was
Chattahoochee, that's a
10.
bunch
Growing
of
up in
it.
North Florida around
yeah.
agriculture.
Yeah.
Growing up baling hay, I would have to wear goggles and bandana and take copious amounts of
Yeah.
what is it called, Benadryl,
Benadryl.
because my daddy would not give me a pass on baling hay. It
You ever
was
take
like-
Drixarl?
Yeah, I've taken every possible kind of antihistamine or
I
snot stopper you can imagine.
Benadryl made me so sleepy.
Yeah.
And so I remember being over at the Sullivan place on a tractor, and literally I wasn't even doing anything with dirt. I was spraying peanuts, and there were so many weeds and stuff in the field, and the pollen was so bad that I remember, of course, when spraying peanuts, and depending on how wide the sprayer is, and we didn't run big equipment. We were small farmers. We did anywhere from 600 to 1,200 acres, and at the time, pretty decent size back then, and so you have to be able to see, because you're spraying 12, 16 rows, and you ride down, and until you sprayed peanuts a number of times, your tire tracks aren't. After a while, you can see where the last time you went through there, I think it's like 12, 14 days, something like that. It's been a long time since I farmed peanuts, and you make the loop and come back around. But before that, you were having to count the rows, and then you'd turn at the end, count those rows, get back. So my allergies were so bad that I literally couldn't see the hood of the tractor. My eyes were swollen up so bad that, and snot and tears and just, and I couldn't rub my eyes. If I rubbed my eyes, it would completely, I would have to stop, and there's nothing you
Even
could
before
do.
I was big enough to pick up a square bale of hay and throw it on the wagon. I could pick it up maybe, but I couldn't throw it on the wagon that's, chest high off the ground or whatever, because those old hay wagons are sit on top of the tires. They're not sitting low to the ground. The one we had was a big four-wheel wagon that was sitting up pretty high, and I wasn't big enough to man up a square bale of Bahia grass hay. So I drove the truck pulling the wagon. We had the wagon tied to a truck, and I was probably 10 or 11 years old driving that old 68 Chevrolet pickup truck out there in the field, and my eyes would swell shut inside the truck with the windows up, just from being out there. And that's how allergic to it I am. Charlie's seen it, but it's I get it
You
bad.
don't have one blade of that in your yard.
No, sir. I will dig it up with a shovel before it blooms.
All right, the kids do
So,
it.
so I,
Is anybody else allergic
long as
to
it's
it in
not
the family?
blooming, long as it's not blooming, I'm fine for the most part, unless there's a lot of dust or whatever from it.
so I have to take an allergy pill to live in Jackson County every single day. I've
Which
gotten
one you
off my
take?
blood pressure medication, off of my statin for my cholesterol, and I'm down to nothing but an allergy pill now. So yeah, that's what happens when you lose a lot of weight. When you don't start eating right, you don't have to take all that medication.
Yeah.
So what are you looking at, Fred?
I was looking at the timer over there.
Well, quit looking at the timer. It's distracting. I've got
Well,
the timer
I mean,
in my hand here.
It used to be that I couldn't see the timer, but now you got all skinny over there, and I'm kind of
Well,
looking.
you seeing it with your one good eye?
Yeah, pretty much.
With your ulcered eye.
I got you in my ulcered eye.
I got my. Don't put your eye on me. All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Thank you.
And we're back.
Hey, before we get cranked off, Charlie, on this next run, I do want
Good.
to. I
'cause
do want to
have
mention.
no idea what we're going to talk about.
Good. Well, I got something important to talk
Well,
about.
there
Really,
Fred's
really.
got paperwork too.
I know. Well, he's got good stuff too, but I got something really important to talk about. August 13th, 8:30 a.m., which I don't know what day of the week that is, but if y'all want to look that
I
up.
barely know either.
It's
So-
a Wednesday because it's my birthday.
There you go.
There you
Happy
go.
birthday early, Fred. I got something you can do on your birthday.
Yeah.
August 13th, 8:30 in the morning at the Pat Thomas Law Enforcement Academy, whatever they call it, the TCC, North Florida.
TSC.
Right.
Tallahassee
TSC.
State.
State College, yeah.
Out there at Pat Thomas.
Pat Thomas Academy out here between Midway and Quincy on Highway 90 at the Academy. FWC, the Fish and Wildlife Commission, is having a meeting, an open forum meeting for the public, and they will be discussing bear hunting and the potential of a bear season for certain areas of the state for a certain number of bear to be hunted. And
Ooh, that has the potential of being
yes,
exciting.
we've been to one of those meetings in the past, the last bear season they had, and it really doesn't matter. So here's the issue, because there's a lot of people out there, and I'm one of them. I have no desire to bear hunt.
No.
I have turned down many opportunities to go out of state and go bear hunting. I don't have the desire to hunt a bear because I really don't want to eat bear, even though I've heard it's good and all this other stuff. I've never eaten bear. I don't really want to eat bear. I like pig, cow, and deer meat. So I'm happy. And that's why I hunt. The problem with what's going on is you have several things. I don't necessarily agree with the way the biologists for the state gather their data on bear population. They basically ride around in the woods and areas where there's bear, and they look for bear tracks, and if they don't find any bear tracks on the dirt road, they say there's no bears there. They count the number of different bear tracks they find along certain stretches of dirt road out in the national forest. That doesn't sound very scientific to me. Take that for what it's worth. That's JD's
It's
opinion.
like
on this.
judging deer population on how many tracks of deer you see crossing the road. It just
Right.
how much is there to eat on one side versus the other?
Right. There is that can't be anything remotely scientific the way I believe scientific data is gathered. That can't be the basis for it. But they will anyway. So there's a huge debate about the number of bears we actually have, and do we have a huntable population? Do we not have a huntable population? But I think that I know that's how they gather their data.
Yeah.
And that ain't right. So you've got false information probably coming from that. And anyway, like I said, that's JD's opinion. What this has turned into in other parts of the state and along the way, when you have the anti-hunters, and this is what I'm trying to address, is there are people, a lot of people in our state that have moved to our state recently that ain't from here, ain't from around here. We've had this giant influx of population from all over the country, but mostly from the Northeast, come in here. They are in some of these meetings that they've had in South Florida. There have been movements to ban bow hunting with a bow and arrow,
Why?
because it's cruel and inhumane.
Come on.
So
When did that happen?
Well, here's the thing.
For 10,000 years we've been doing it.
yeah, humans since humans have been able to
Did
put a sharp.
Did they start the meeting out with an acknowledgement that we're on stolen land from the Native Americans?
I'm sure they
at the time?
probably. I'm
we
sure
wanna
they
ban,
probably did.
We want to ban bow hunting, but we want to acknowledge that we took the land from
From
someone
the
who
bow
So,
hunters.
did
so
bow
my,
hunting.
my point of this is that the hunting, the anti-hunters are doing the same exact strategy that the anti-gun crowd has always done, and that's start with one little piece of the puzzle. And if they can take away that one little piece of the puzzle, then they go after the next piece of the puzzle. And eventually it is their end goal. If you can get one of them to be honest with you, their end goal is to absolutely ban all hunting and
Firearms.
fishing. No, and fishing.
Why are we banning fishing?
There are these groups that, because it's cruel to the fish, Fred, to put a hook in his mouth.
He don't
It's
know.
cruel to the fish. It's cruel to the fish. They
don't have the same mouths we got.
If you pay attention to articles on the internet that they're blasted. I see these articles all the time on Instagram where they'll tell you how much pain a fish is in before it dies after you throw it on the ice, when you catch the fish and throw it on the ice.
I've never heard him say it hurts.
So we should start shooting fish
and
we're gonna eat 'em.
instantly killing them. No.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, these
Fish with
people
dynamite.
are crazy. This is the
Yeah.
bottom line: is these people are crazy. They don't believe that God put these creatures, other creatures on the earth. The Bible says that God made the beasts of the earth for our benefit as humans.
And we're supposed to take care of them.
We're supposed to honor them, take care of them, not abuse them, all this stuff. But they're here for us to eat.
That's true.
And we have
Which is
dominion
why
over
you-
We have dominion over the fish of the sea and the
Correct.
fowl of the air and the beast of the earth. And my point is that these people don't believe that. They want you to eat vegetables, vegetable whatever only. They're against
And
any
not
kind
eat
of
meat, eat crickets.
any kind of animals. Okay, they don't want you to. So, but this is all small steps toward this. And if we, as sportsmen, outdoors people, or just people with a little bit of common sense, don't stand up to these people in these meetings, they will outnumber us, outshout us, outshow their hiney over. They will, and it makes it look like whether we believe, whether we are the majority or not, the people that feel like we do, whether we're the majority or not, they're going to be louder and show up in bigger numbers because most of them don't have jobs.
No, they don't. I mean, but if you look at the organizations like Ducks Unlimited, Quail Unlimited,
Quail Forever, National
what's
Deer
the,
Association,
what's the
Turkey
Association,
CCA, all of them.
all of them.
BASS.
Yeah, I mean, all of those organizations. These are people like us who give our money that we earned in our jobs, and contribute. And we've done more to preserve
Build wildlife
and
habitat.
build wildlife habitat.
And numbers. My granddaddy, if my granddaddy was that raised me was born in 1911.
Yeah.
The man that raised me was born in 1911. And I remember as a child him telling me there's so much more game, deer. He said you never saw deer. He grew up in North Florida. He grew up in North Florida in Washington County, born in 1911 there. And he said we never saw deer. We almost never saw ducks. We almost, the very few animals, because there was no conservation movements. There was no conservationists like we are. There were no sportsmen. There were no laws. So people just went out there eating whatever's there. They're killing everything they see, and they're feeding their family.
Deer.
Nothing was managed. Well, now we've done better. We've done better.
Sure.
The populations are very healthy. For the most part, and any time that there's not a healthy population, we need good science to come in and say, okay, guys, you shouldn't be keeping any red snapper this year, or you shouldn't be keeping grouper this year.
They don't.
If they do
measure
it
it
fairly,
right.
if they do it fairly and measure it correctly.
I mean, you can go out there now, throw a hook down, and get a snapper.
Right.
I mean, and they're trying to.
And they're still
with grouper.
hyper protected.
Yeah, and when you go nuts like that, and the studies are flawed.
Correct, and that's what that was my point about the bear study. When you're having bears encroaching on humans in town, in Carabel, and eventually somebody's going to get eaten, and it's already happened in Florida. We've already had bear attacks. Because they're not afraid of humans. They don't stay in their environment. They're gluttons. Bears are gluttonous creatures. They will eat until they can't eat anymore. I've watched bears sit down in a pile of corn and just eat until they can't eat anymore, and then they go evacuate their system and come back and eat some more. They're gluttonous, just like a hog. But there's manageable numbers. I don't want to see bears extinct. I don't want to see them go away. I want us to have bears. I like the fact, but they need to have a fear of humans. Look what's happened to the alligator population since they started allowing alligator hunting. There's more alligators now than there was when I was a kid, when they were highly protected.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we hunt them.
You got them crawling out of the
everywhere.
if
there's a wet
golf course pond and eating an old woman walking a poodle.
If there's water and we're in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, there's probably an alligator in there.
There's an alligator in my pond in the
got one
yard.
in
I
his
found
pond.
that out the other day. I'm like, what do you mean?
Where'd
there's
he
a gator
come
out there? I
from?
went out there and I don't remember him being there. I got about a 4-foot alligator out there.
Yeah, but that's
Until he eats
only
one of my
happened.
pigs.
I mean, Paul, growing up as a kid on Lake Seminole, I remember seeing gators, but you
yeah.
didn't see them in the numbers that you see them now.
Yeah.
Now that we're hunting them and that they're a commodity and people pay money and come to our states and buy licenses to go kill an alligator, there's more of them now than there's ever been.
That's right.
It looks like a darn city at night. You go shine a light across Lake Ammonia, and there's
yeah.
nothing but just light, red eyes
You
everywhere.
ain't gonna catch me
problem
on
with-
that lake at
The
night.
problem with bears, the problem with bears, is that the ones out in the national forest aren't really,
not bothering
unless
anybody.
you live out there, they're not bothering anybody. So you have a bear hunt, that's where people go hunt. They're going to go out there where they can find a bear. Where the bears are creating problems, and this is just me thinking, like nuisance alligators, there are nuisance bears, but you don't go kill a nuisance bear. You go capture it and you can move it down the road, and then
it comes back.
I've seen it happen where they come back and ate a woman's little wiener dog in her yard one night, and that bear, I found, had been captured before in the same area and relocated down the road.
There has been
and
a
came
bear
back.
there has been a bear in my neighborhood in the last 2 months in Clarn Lakes.
Clarn?
Where
in
is
Clarn
it?
Don't
Really?
Yeah,
So-
there's
so you-
seen pictures of
So
it on
hunt-
people's
hunt
ring
the
ring
hunt the
cameras.
nuisance bears.
What if he's on the golf course?
I don't know.
Because once a bear, like anything else, if you feed an alligator,
He's dangerous, right?
he's
then.
dangerous because he doesn't differentiate between you and what you've been feeding
He
him and
associates
your
you with
kid and
food.
your dog and anything else. He sees you moving. Oh, that's food coming. They're going to feed me. If once a bear figures out that I can get in these trash cans, I can get in this, I can eat these critters in their yard or eat their dog or something.
They associate that location with food. With
They
hunting.
have now. I mean, so these are the same people that get out there and not all of them because they're animal lovers, but there are a lot of people that go, well, the minute a dog bites somebody, you have to put them down. A dog bit somebody, got to put them down. Well, maybe the dog had a reason, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of that concept. But what I will say is that is the minute a bear finds out that people means food,
They're dangerous.
homes mean food, they are now dangerous, and eventually they're going to be a nuisance. So those are the ones, to me, that should be.
Just put it this
taken.
way: there's enough of them to hunt and sustain the population. We should allow it. Period.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back in just a minute. And we're back. So
We're talking about the bear hunting, and if folks, if y'all are in the Wiregrass area and you want to come over, we'd love to have you. If you're a hunter and because this isn't just about. It's honestly not just about the bear hunting. It's about this is one small piece they can take away.
right.
They're not going to be satisfied with it.
They never are.
anytime they make movements to limit or restrict hunting, fishing, anything that traditionally we as red-blooded Americans did,
And still do.
right?
And I want our kids
here's
to
the
be
thing
able
is
to do.
the people who are you shouldn't eat meat. Life is important. We shouldn't kill anything. And then they go out and they have no idea the amount of biomass, the amount of insect life, and the amount of life. At what point
When
in
you
time,
farm.
what do you define as life? If you don't want to take life in order to feed life, what do you define as life? Because when a farmer-
Nematodes
when-
are life.
Well, when you go out and plow up a field, how many mice and snakes and rabbits how much life are you taking just by plowing a field in order to grow the very food? And they go, oh, well, it should be organic farming. We should allow the wildlife to. I say, so you're going to eat all those buggy plants and stuff. Oh, well, you can't do that on a mass scale. It doesn't work. Agriculture doesn't work like that. You can't go out and now. Yes, like rotational grazing and
No-till.
Well, when you are growing, when your browse or grazing for cattle, there's a movement now to going towards, instead of a monocultured grass like Bahia grass in your pastures, they're letting other things come up, and there's some good stuff out there. It's nutritious. It doesn't have to be pretty to be a cow pasture, and you're starting to see a lot of people get back to rotational grazing. There's a movement for that, and it's beneficial for the cow, it's beneficial for the environment, it's beneficial for people, and it's not as intensive use of fertilizer and things like that. Yeah, that's coming back around, and that's smart farming is what that is. However, you can't grow soybeans and wheat and peanuts, and you can't let the weeds come up in the middle of it, because that's not how it works. And you have to kill the insects that are killing that. Okay, well, we can come up with ways to make things more susceptible to less susceptible to weeds. We can bioengineer things, genetically modify things. Oh, we can't we can't have
Stop that
GMO
now.
stuff. We can't do that. We can't genetically modify anything. It's like they're not hungry, and
Yeah.
if they got a little hungry, they'd shut up.
Well, there's some of the same people, though, Charlie, that think that the human population needs to be thinned out by a half or
And we need to
2/3
start
or
with
whatever.
them. They're
Yeah.
the ones we need to start with.
There's some of the same people that the Gates of the Bill Gates of the world that
That's
think
right.
that there's that the population needs.
Well, they ought to.
I'm not
they
making
ought
this
to
up, folks.
volunteer.
If you don't,
they
if
should
you don't,
volunteer. It would be a good start if they
if you
want
don't
to. I
believe
wouldn't.
it, if you don't believe there are people in this world that think we ought to have mass extermination of a whole lot of humans, read.
Well, I mean, Charlie just
Educate
started talking
yourself.
about genes and genetic stuff, so I mean, I don't know. Sydney Sweeney might come around here, and
She's got good genes. I'll
she
say
does
that.
got some good genes.
My Lord. Yeah.
It's crazy to me the things that the
mean,
left
They just got to find
get
something to get
wound up
aggravated.
about.
Yeah, I mean,
What are we going to be mad about today? What are
look
we
at
going to be
Sydney
upset
Sweeney,
about
got
today?
genes. Oh, yeah.
Fastest
They put a
sculptures wearing
blonde-haired,
jeans.
blue-eyed girl in a jeans commercial.
And these
Oh!
people are like, I'm just so offended as a brown person. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean,
But here's the thing: we wouldn't have got offended if they'd have used a brown person
No.
to advertise their blue jeans.
No.
I don't care.
there's some brown people
mean,
that
they're
got
gonna-
good genes. I mean, my wife's an Indian. She got good genes. Feather type.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but still, it's crazy the world we live in, and yeah, some of these the biggest people that are against things like hunting and that want you to eat tofu for everything. And
You
all
ever
this
had
other
tofu?
stuff.
It's
No,
disgusting.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
have. It's horrible. But the people that want you to do that are the same ones that will get on their private jet or get on
That's
their
right.
whatever to go, or wear plastic shoes.
Yeah.
Where do you think the plastic comes from? It
Yeah,
comes
but-
from oil wells, people.
Yeah, they paid their carbon credit, so there's some for every mile they went on their jet. There's some dude living in a mud hut in Uganda.
Do you know how many? Do you know how much biomass you destroy to grow the cotton, the natural cotton?
The natural
fibers
cotton that you're
yeah,
wearing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all that's yeah. How many pesticides we use, insecticides we use to do that stuff, and so you can feel good about what you're wearing, whatever.
They call it organic.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that? What does that mean? It's an organism. So I mean, pretty much this table's organic.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
All right,
We have
we'll be
time.
back in just a minute. And we're back.
Hey.
Where were we?
Where were we?
left? We were talking. Okay,
Well,
we
we
were
were
talking
still
about bears, and
talking
then
about
on
the
the bottom
hunting.
hour we went somewhere else, and now
Well,
we're back to.
I just want to remind everybody, August 13th, 8:30 a.m. If you got the time and you believe in the ability for us to hunt and fish, show up at the commission meeting and speak, or at least just show up. Anyway,
So I can
There it
tell
is.
you,
you're gonna be somewhere sipping a fruity boat drink.
I will. But based on the way you described that, I think I have an example of some of the opposition that the hunters might see when they go there.
Okay.
So, just to kind of give you a little background, I'm coming into work this week and listening to Preston, and he brings up this lawsuit. Of course, anytime Preston talks about the law, I like to tune in.
You perk up.
I perk up because I can argue with him. He doesn't hear it, but
Yeah.
but
I'm with you.
I'm arguing with him, and so Preston's not a lawyer, but he looked up this case, and I'm like, that sounds like something out of the Babylon Bee. There's no way.
The onion. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I got into work early that day, so I didn't have an appointment or court or anything. So I immediately went to my desk and looked up the lawsuit that he was talking about. And the lawsuit is in Washington State, Seattle, federal court. And this woman named Lauren Ann Lombardi has sued the Blue Angels. And I'm like,
The Navy's acrobatic jet.
yeah,
Acrobatic
and
team. Yes.
so, and this is just some language out of the federal complaint, which is 14 pages long. And the basis of the lawsuit is that the Blue Angels, with their loud booms and jet engine noise and whatnot, have terrorized her cat, who had some kind of heart disease. And then she got on Instagram and started criticizing the Blue Angels in some not so choice words, and they blocked her because
Okay.
they don't want
Fair enough.
kind of foul language on there. So she sued them for a First Amendment violation. But all throughout the lawsuit, there's these undertones of the Blue Angels have killed this 14-year-old cat with heart disease. Here's an example. Layla's primitive limbic system, that Layla's the name of the cat, overruled her medication, and she fled in primal panic beneath furniture, her labored breathing escalating to clinically dangerous levels. Lombardi employed desperate measures to block or muffle the deafening roars, barricading windows with thick blankets, flooding the house with calming music, physically shielding Layla's ears to no avail. And this is written in a federal complaint.
Well, they have a picture of the cat.
There's a picture of the cat in a
And
tutu.
she's wearing a tutu. Yeah, look at that.
They even got
Oh,
a
boy.
caption on the bottom of it. The caption reads, "Photo of Layla in her summertime prime." And she's got a tutu on and some kind of like super cat necklace, like a Diddy
Apparently
thing
not.
going on. But apparently, and I'm like, what lawyer would possibly file this lawsuit? So it's a real lawsuit. Preston was not exaggerating. It is a real lawsuit. But I went a step further and looked up the law firm that filed this complaint. Couple things. One, there's the lawyer, but look who the paralegal is. It's the same woman.
Oh, it's her.
Oh, she.
It's Lauren
yeah.
Ann
She's looking for a
Lombardi.
paycheck.
Now, what's even more interesting about this is if you look at the staff, you get to the next page, and it says legal interns.
Oh, no. I see it coming.
This is the staff. A bunch of cats.
Show that to the camera up there.
This is they got a bunch of cats. at the-
Ziggy, Ozzy, and Layla. Layla is on, in
Layla's-
memoriam.
Layla's in memoriam.
She made it
Whole thing done died at 14 years old.
14 years old.
Now, this is all of the website that there is here, and what's really interesting is it says, "We are a law firm," and then they give the number, and it says, "Do not call us. Representation is not available." And you look at the bottom
They're
of the
tied
page.
up with a big case.
I guess so. Look at the bottom of the page, and this is really classic. Several additional staff members declined to be listed here due to reasons of
shocked.
professional discretion and personal safety.
You reckon they didn't want it? I
So-
wouldn't want to be affiliated with that
So
nonsense
here's
right there.
here's
either.
a question for you, Fred. There, we see nationally, we see these so frivolous, crazy, all outlandish,
And here's one of them.
these crazy cases brought to trial, brought to court,
Right.
where with no basis whatsoever in reality, can they not go after the attorneys?
Yes, there are laws in place. In Florida, there's a statute. It's called 57.105. Says if you bring an action in court that's not supported by facts or law, then the lawyer bringing and the client, the party,
Plaintiff? Okay.
yeah, the party bringing the lawsuit can be sanctioned and have to pay the other side's fees. I've been practicing 32 years. I have filed that probably 20 times. I've got it enforced 3.
It's crazy that you got the Blue Angels, or just not anybody else. You could have this completely innocent person that's just going about their life and look sideways at a crazy neighbor or whatever. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. You look sideways at somebody one time, or your mere presence or the way you're dressed, or you're wearing a Make America Great hat or something that sets some nut job off, and they find out who you are and sue you over it.
Yeah, and what folks don't understand is you get sued.
It costs you money.
It costs you a lot of money. And most of the time when you get sued civilly, if you go see and you don't have insurance that's going to cover that, you go see a lawyer, that lawyer's going to say, all right, give me $10,000. We'll bill against it at $350 an hour. And every time you pick up the phone, call that lawyer.
$350.
It's not it's however long you talk to them. But they, like I do mine in quarter hours. So, if you call it to me for 5, that's 15 minutes that you get quarter hour minimum. Kind of like when you call the plumber, he does the same thing.
Yep.
But I mean, every time that lawyer picks up the phone and talks to you, and that adds up. And,
in a hurry.
And that's one thing I wish judges all over the country would do more, is enforce those laws against frivolous lawsuits and stop people from just getting sue happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there are so many cases that come in my office and, I want to sue this guy. And I'm like, well, okay, what are your grounds? And I'll go through it with them and say, look, I don't think you have a case here. And, maybe you do, but I'm not willing to put my name on that case.
Yeah.
I wonder if our insurance covers our lawsuits here. If it does, you and I need to sue each other and settle.
Yeah. That's
I'm
a
just
great
saying,
idea.
and
That's a
then we
great
can just
idea.
walk away.
Now I'll take that case.
I will agree. I will agree to settle with you for $10 million for all the grievances. If you will take $10 million from me, and we can get our insurance company to settle on that, me and you will just walk away. So,
I don't think it works like that, Charlie, but it's worth a try. We could sue the insurance company for it not working.
well, you know
way.
what? If you can sue the Blue Angels for making stressing
For
your
flying.
cat out, and I think
So I sent this website
How long do
to,
cats live?
about
that
14
one
years
lived about
apparently.
14 years.
I don't know. Listen, I understand fireworks and the noises, and I understand things. I get it. I do. I mean, if somebody around you's doing something, your neighbor's doing something that's just making you miserable, and you've tried every means possible to resolve that issue, and you just cannot figure out a way to work, I see where something like this might happen. But when you're suing the military for
Flying
doing
a jet.
military stuff,
Well, I sent this website to Preston. So you got the lawyer and you got the only other human pictured on his website, his client.
then he doesn't look like he wants to be there.
No, he really doesn't. He looks like somebody.
He's like,
Well, she's
what?
she's not
Somebody-
bad looking. Let me
No,
see.
she's not bad looking.
So you never know. I
So,
mean,
well, my
She's
comment to Preston.
she's a crazy cat lady.
crazy cat lady. He might be. I mean, he ain't all that. So she's
Yeah,
pretty.
so-
You never know.
Well, my
Just
comment, I sent Preston, I said, I looked up the lawyers on your lawsuit.
Look at what her background is. She is a former funeral director,
That's troubling.
discovery whisperer,
And
What?
and devoted mother.
Devoted. Yeah.
Devoted.
I don't think she's
can't say it
devout
from
on
way-
anything, but,
well, she may be devout.
She's devout with
What
cats.
is
cat gods.
what is a discovery whisperer?
I can't
I
see it
don't-
way over
it-
there.
I gotta Google that. Y'all go ahead.
She's talking about legal discovery. That is,
Okay.
she's whispering in somebody.
I like
getting all
that.
discovery,
The
but that's
owner
what-
of the thing is a litigator's litigator, licensed in Washington, speaks English,
Yeah, he does.
tech, French, and criminal code.
Yeah, great guy. So
oui.
I looked at, and these are the only two humans pictured in this law firm. The rest of them are cats. And so I sent the website to Preston, and my question to him is, what are the chances that these two recently attended a Coldplay concert
Together?
together? He said about 100%.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back.